اللهم صل وسلم وزد وبارك على النبي محمد وآل محمد.
Assalamu alaikum. This is video number 2. We are still in the first topic of literary superiority in general, and we have reached the second subject of inimitable literary splendor of Surah Al-Kawthar. If we have a short passage, it is obvious that the more meanings we find in that passage, the better the passage is, especially if those meanings are related. Each additional meaning that can be found adds to its literary excellence. One cannot request proof that the author actually had in mind all those meanings. One cannot say you are overreaching. From the literary point of view, the passage is just great, especially due to these multiple meanings. Subsequently, analyzing any such passage deeper and deeper is always acceptable, which applies by force to the Quran, viewing its claim and challenge of inimitability. So let us analyze Surah Al-Kawthar in a little depth. At first blush, this surah, 108, seems a good candidate to meet the Quran's challenge. Produce one surah like it. After all, it contains only 3 short ayahs, with a total of only 10 words, the shortest surah in the Quran. Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar, we have given you abundance. Fasalli li rabbika wanhar, so pray unto your Lord and sacrifice. Inna shani'aka huwal abtar, it is your offender who is cut off from all good. But upon closer examination, the matter appears quite different. Here are the points to meet in the challenge. The first point, the relation between Al-Kawthar and the preceding surah, Ma'un. Both surahs are actually in opposition. In Ma'un 107, Allah mentioned 4 features of the hypocrites: avarice and greed, وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ, neglecting prayer, الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ, hypocrisy and showing off, الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ, and withholding charity, وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. So in this following surah, Al-Kawthar, he mentioned, in opposition to avarice and greed, we gave you the Kawthar, i.e. abundance of welfare. In opposition to neglecting prayer, so pray, i.e. persevere about it. In opposition to hypocrisy, pray to your Lord, i.e. seeking His acceptance, not that of people. And in opposition to withholding charity, and offer sacrifices, i.e. give charity from the meat of sacrifices. Imam al-Razi said, so benefit by contemplating this astounding concordance. Credit to Imam Suyuti in Asrar Tartib al-Quran, the secrets of the Quran's organization, where he expounds the extreme coherence, harmony, and correlation between the surahs, how surahs expound on points briefly mentioned in previous surahs, and so on. The second point, the relation between Al-Kawthar 108 and the surahs preceding and following it. This surah summarizes the 15 surahs before it, 93 to 107, mentioning how Allah honored Muhammad, and prepares for surahs 109 and others to follow it. Indeed, in the previous surahs, Allah reassures Muhammad of the favors He granted him. In Surah 93, Al-Duha, He says, did He not find you an orphan, so He sheltered you, and found you wandering, etc. 94, Al-Sharh, have we not expanded, relaxed your chest, and removed from you your burden, etc. In Surah 95, At-Teen, Allah honored him by taking an oath by his city. Secondly, by informing him of saving his nation from hellfire. And thirdly, by informing him of giving his nation great reward. 96. Defeat of his enemies and getting nearer to Allah. 97. Honored him with the night of power being better than 1,000 nights, that the angels will descend then, and that it will remain with peace until dawn. 98. That believers, his followers, are the best of creation, their reward will be paradise, and Allah is well pleased with them. 99. Honored him that the earth will inform, that they will see their deeds, that they will receive their rewards, even as small as an atom. 100. Honored him by taking an oath by the steeds of his nation's fighters, and providing 3 features about them. 101. That the weight of the actions of his nations will be heavy. They will be in a satisfied state, with their enemies in a hot fire. 102. Threatening those rejecting his religion of seeing hellfire, of seeing it with certitude, and of being asked about their previous pleasures. 103. Praising his nation of being believers, doing good deeds and guiding people. 104. Threatening his enemy of not benefiting from his money, of entering hellfire and having it locked behind him. 105. Mentioning how Allah warded off the unbelievers, sent birds throwing stones on them, and made them like consumed crops. 106. Mentioning how Allah harmonized between His people, fed them, and protected them from fear. 107. Criticizing His enemies' treatment of orphans and the poor, of not honoring Allah, and opposing charity by others. Thus, in these 15 surahs, Allah strengthened him, preparing him for the command to follow in the next surah. 109. Say, O disbelievers, I worship not what you worship, which would lead to severe repercussions from many of the unbelievers, most people on earth at that time. Simply stating, I do not worship what you worship, and spreading his message resulted in severe hostility and harm. Moses and Aaron said, We are fearful, when Allah sent them to the Pharaoh. But for Muhammad, everyone on earth was a potential Pharaoh. So Allah strengthened him in this superb manner, ending with the surah under study, Al-Kawthar, summarizing the above 15 surahs. We have given you abundance, to calm down his potential worry from declaring his religion to all creation. The surahs to follow next strengthen him further by giving the good news of victory, surahs 110 and 111. Then lay the foundation of belief, surah 112, to establish after this victory. Credit to Imam al-Razi in his tafsir, also quoted by Imam Suyuti in his other book, Tanasuq ad-Durar. In that book, Imam Suyuti cited the marvelous relationships between several successive surahs, relationships between the beginning and ending of surahs, and relationships between ayahs within surahs. So please remember that meeting the Qur'an's challenge must also include such an intricate weave of relationships. Note, although we do not have a chronological match of each of the above surahs with the corresponding events in the life of Muhammad, peace be upon him, yet the majority of them coincide, therefore confirming that this ordering of the surahs did strengthen the Prophet indeed. Additionally, the Qur'an is addressed to the whole nation. Thus we also benefit from all the above concepts after the fact, each time we contemplate the superb wonder of these correlations. The third point, expounding slightly further about this surah. In only 10 words, this surah contains an unbelievable multitude of features of literary excellence. We will now cite a few of these features in order to appreciate the order of magnitude of the Qur'an's literary inimitability. And we will restrict ourselves to only the first 3 words of that surah, i.e., the first ayah only. We start by repeating 4 points from our previous video. 1. Symmetry and opposition between 2 persons in its first and last ayah. 2. Symmetry and opposition of last 2 words of the first and last ayah, Kawthar and Abtar. 3. Mastery of cadence and rhyme. 4. Phonetic mastery. This ends the 4 points from our previous video. 5. Now we discuss the topic of linguistic tools or rhetorical devices, called wujuh al-balagha in Arabic, translated as facets of eloquence. Translated in summary from Imam Razi at Tafsir al-Kabir, with credit to YouTube/LoveAllah328 for many points. Starting the surah by "We have given you abundance" has the effect of appropriately putting to rest the slander by the Prophet's antagonist, that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is cut off. 2. Using the royal plural we have emphasizes the greatness of the one speaking. 3. The greatness of the one spoken to. 4. And the greatness of the gift spoken about. 5. Starting with a pronoun, inna, we. The sentence can work without it. It could have been أعطيناك الكوثر, which is a complete and correct sentence. But since abundance is a great gift, a doubt could rise about it in some minds, sheerly because of its magnitude. Therefore, starting with the pronoun inna emphasizes the fact that it is Allah giving this great gift. It is us, your Lord, who have given you abundance. Therefore, this promise will be fulfilled, regardless of its magnitude. 6. Emphatic article, inna, the same article. The emphasis on inna denotes exclusivity and honoring. It is we who have given you abundance. Only we and nobody else. للاختصاص. 7. Starting with the article inna indicates an oath in Arabic, therefore adding more emphasis. We give you an oath that we have given you abundance. للقسم. 8. Word choice of أعطيناك, we have given you. This word may denote small gifts as well as big ones, such as we gave you 1 penny. An alternative word could have been آتيناك, which denotes only great gifts, such as we granted you the Quran. آتيناك سبعا من المثاني والقرآن العظيم. This nuance, the possibility of the gift being small, indicates that the enormous abundance, Kawthar, is small when compared to other gifts that will also be granted to him. It's like someone telling you, I start by throwing in this small gift of $1 billion. So imagine what subsequent big gifts will be. 9. Word choice of Inna a'tainaka fasalli. We have given you, therefore pray, etc. is requesting something in return for the gift of abundance. This is a transaction of exchange. It indicates possession of the gift as permanent property, not to be taken back. 10. Word choice of we have given you, instead of specifying an attribute such as we have given the prophet, or we have given the messenger, or the righteous subject, etc. This denotes sheer divine prerogative of choice and honoring, and not because of any specific attribute in Muhammad. 11. Prophecy. This surah was revealed in Mecca, when he was prosecuted, and did not have the financial means to offer sacrifices. Therefore, the promise of abundance is a prophecy that he will prevail over his enemies and will have financial means to offer sacrifices. 12. Past tense. This emphasizes the prophecy. It is over and done with, decided since eternity. 13. Past tense. Since the gift is already given, this emphasizes again that it is sheer honoring and not in return for prayers or sacrifices. 14. Word ordering. Saying we have given you before commanding to pray and sacrifice denotes that the divine gift of guidance, included in abundance, comes before our acts of worship. It is their cause, not their result. So if the gift was in return for righteous actions, its magnitude would have been commensurate with these actions. It would have been limited. But since it is due to divine unlimited generosity, it will be commensurate with that unlimited generosity. Therefore, this abundance will be endless, continuously increasing. 15. Grammatical shift, iltifat, from past to present. The ayah starts with the past tense, أعطيناك, we have given you. Then at the end of the surah, it shifts to the present tense, هو الأبتر. He is the one cut off. Good literary form is normally to maintain the same tense for both. But for this particular instance, the grammatical shift is superior. It emphasizes the meaning of the initial past tense, have given you, the meaning of guaranteed gift, that it is a done deal indeed. 16. Hyperbole. Using the word Kawthar, derived from kathra, which means a lot. When the hyperbole is used, I gave you a lot, this leaves it open, which produces a stronger meaning than speaking literally. I gave you a lot of welfare. 17. Superlative form, Kawthar. Instead of the word kathir, a lot, the word Kawthar is used, which means the very extreme lot. 18. Multiple meanings. The word Kawthar itself carries multiple meanings: river in paradise, mercy, blessings, prophethood, the Quran, progeny, a large nation, welfare, support, victory, etc. 19. Positive connotation of the word Kawthar, kathir. In the Arabic language, this specific form, Kawthar, cannot indicate a lot of bad stuff. It can only indicate a lot of good stuff. For example, kathir may be used with the words pain, evil, etc., but not Kawthar. It can only have positive connotations. 20. Specifying. Abundance is specified with the pronoun the, al-Kawthar. This indicates a specific abundance, unique, one of a kind, and not any abundance that may be available anywhere, anyhow. 21. Demonstrative pronoun. The same pronoun, the Kawthar, denotes the encompassing scope of welfare. We have given you all types of abundance, whatever you can think of, similarly to the expression, he was given the keys of the kingdom. 22. Word arrangement. Placing the word Kawthar at the end puts a stress on it, to emphasize further that it is an abundance of everything, not an abundance of only one or a few things. We have given you the abundance. The same effect cannot be obtained by saying, we have given the abundance to you. Additional word choice. The above 22 points were only about the first 3 words of the surah. This is sufficient for our goal, to give an idea of the literary superiority. But we cannot leave without mentioning the delicate tenderness in the next ayah. So pray to your Lord. فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ. The word used for Lord is Rabbika, which means the nurturer, the one who provides for you, will continue taking care of your needs until he fulfills his promises. An additional splendid facet of tenderness is therefore added in this short surah. Al-Zamakhshari, Al-Razi, and other scholars cited an overwhelming amount of other literary features, most of which are above the pay grade of our team. People interested can review their writings from the links provided in our footnote, courtesy of Sheikh Rami Killawi. Finally, we should not overlook the superb conciseness of this surah, yet containing such huge informativity as we have seen. So much information in such a few words. Scholars such as Imam al-Razi wrote the equivalent of volumes, enumerating the wealth of information within it. Al-Razi wrote that in this very short surah, each ayah by itself is inimitable, which is not the case for all ayahs of the Quran. 6. This surah contains a double prophecy. 1. That Muhammad will be granted abundance of welfare, descendants, legacy, and good mention. 2. That those antagonizing him will be the ones cut off indeed from any legacy and future praise or mention. And both prophecies were fulfilled in a grandiose manner. As for Muhammad, no human being receives the continuous praise and mention that he receives. His descendants are by the tens or hundreds of millions all over the world, and his legacy is not even rivaled in all human history. 2. As for his antagonists, they are only mentioned negatively, almost only in relationship with this ayah. No praise is mentioned about them across the centuries, only the scorn and disrespect within commentaries about this surah. Nor did they leave any legacy, message, or spiritual heritage, nor any descendants behind. Imam al-Razi wrote, we see that the progeny of these unbelievers has been cut off. We will expound on these points under prophecies in one of our upcoming videos soon, insha'Allah. 7. Like the rest of the Quran, this surah has a new and superior style. not only with superior eloquence, but also unlike any Arabic prose or poetry. The Qur'an's challenge was never met, even in this short surah. We only find poor imitations, merely rephrasing and plagiarizing the ayahs one by one for this surah, and for similar short surahs, in very poor literary mimic, sometimes ridiculously grotesque, as we will translate next, and as we also cite in our Arabic footnote, missing the important feature of originality of the Qur'an style. 8. Also, like the rest of the Qur'an, this surah impressed expert opponents. Musaylima, who claimed prophecy, implicitly accepted its excellence by trying to imitate it, as we will see. Here is how other passages of the Qur'an impressed Muhammad's direst enemies, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Al-Walid ibn al-Mughira, one of the leaders of Quraysh's idolaters, was deeply affected after listening to the Qur'an from Muhammad. Abu Jahl pressured him, "Say something to let your people know you disapprove of it." Al-Walid answered, "What would I say? None among you is more knowledgeable about poetry than me. It has sweetness and elegance. Its beginning is plentiful, its ending bountiful, and no human speaks like that." Abu Jahl said, "Your people will not be satisfied with you until you speak against it." Al-Walid said, "Let me think." Whereupon he said, "This is magic, which he got transmitted from others." Later in this discussion, we will see again how such explanations are the final resort when people are faced with the undeniable wonders of the Qur'an. Opponents must therefore become impressed to such a degree, finding no other explanation but magic and the like, therefore implicitly agreeing to its superiority. 9. This surah also contains guidance, wisdom, and social benefit. As for guidance, in its middle ayah, first it commands to pray, connecting with our Creator. As for wisdom, it then provides the guidelines against hypocrisy. Pray to your Lord, not for the sake of being praised. And as for social benefit, it finally commands generosity and charity. Give sacrificial meat to the poor. Musaylima missed this combination in his imitation. He plagiarized the words, "So pray to your Lord," but missed the important command of charity which follows them. Other passages from Musaylima's Qur'an do not need commentary concerning their ridicule in general, let alone concerning the requirement of providing guidance. Here is one example. Let the viewer judge for himself. "O frog, daughter of the frogs, croak the way you croak. Neither the water do you muddy, nor the drinker do you stop." And from another source, half of you is in the water, and half is in the mud. And here is another example. The elephant. And what tells you what the elephant is? It has a miserable tail and a long trunk. For fairness, we must add that, like most other Arabs, his passages did have rhyme. In summary, meeting the challenge of Al-Kawthar, the shortest surah in the Qur'an, must therefore fulfill the following conditions. 1. Oppose a surah before it. 2. Summarize several surahs before it while preparing for surahs after it. 3. Contain multiple internal symmetries and oppositions. 4. Contain superior rhyme, cadence, and phonetic mastery. 5. Contain superior literary style. We listed 22 features for only the first 3 words. 6. Contain a double prophecy. 7. Have an original, unique literary excellence, able to compete with the points we are listing now, without being a mere imitation of the Qur'an's distinctive style. 8. Impress expert opponents with its new style. 9. Contain guidance, wisdom, social and spiritual benefit, etc. One may say, come on, this far-fetched analysis can be done to any good literary passage. Well, the answer is, try to do it, and succeed. We love and respect Shakespeare's excellence, And here are two beautiful quotes from him. It is the east and Juliet is the sun. And to be or not to be, that is the question. So please, meet the Qur'an's challenge and show us the above 9 features combined, here or in any other passage or for any other writer, noting that the coexistence of these points is of the essence in this challenge. We have finished our discussion of Surah Al-Kawthar. In our next video, number 3, we will continue the linguistic inimitability by discussing correlation of the surahs and utilization of rhyme, cadence, and phonetics. Then, insha'Allah, we will discuss in video number 4 the amazing and undeniable numerical miracle of word counts in the Quran. Wassalamu alaikum.